She was already in my yard when I stepped outside, arms folded like a queen ruling over land that wasn't hers. Her voice cut through the quiet morning, sharp and commanding. "This tree is a hazard, and I have the right to remove it." Before I could answer, a truck pulled up with a crew of men holding chainsaws. They looked at me, uneasy, but Karen shoved a wrinkled paper in their faces and shouted, "I'm in charge here, HOA authority." The sound of chainsaws ripped through the air. My stomach dropped. That oak wasn't just a tree, it was history. My grandfather planted it the day he built this house. I yelled, "Stop! This is my land!" But Karen only smirked, her eyes daring me to challenge her. Neighbors peeked from windows, whispering, watching the show she had staged. She wanted me embarrassed, helpless in my own yard. The chainsaw cut deeper, the tree shuddered, and I felt my chest tighten like I was losing a piece of family. Then it happened. The crack echoed like thunder. The massive oak tilted forward. Karen stepped back, a smug grin spreading across her face, but fate wasn't on her side. The tree crashed down with a roar, smashing straight onto her shiny silver convertible parked on the street. For a breath, silence gripped the block. Then Karen's shriek broke it. "My Lexus! No!" She ran to the wreck, clawing at the crushed metal as the fake HOA notice slipped from her hand and fluttered to the ground. I bent down, picked up the paper, and held it high. The neighbors leaned closer. The font was crooked, the logo blurry, a bad printout. I said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Looks like the only thing fake here was your authority." Gasps rippled across the crowd. Karen's face burned red, but behind her fury was something else. Panic, and I knew this wasn't over. She was just getting started. Karen's panic didn't last long. She snapped right back into her performance, pacing with her phone clutched tight to her ear. "Yes, officer, hurry! He destroyed my car! He's dangerous!" Her voice carried down the street, sharp and trembling, but I knew it wasn't fear, it was rage. I kept my hands in my pockets, calm, while neighbors crowded closer, murmuring about the tree, about the fake paper. They had all seen it. Still, Karen had a way of twisting things, and I could already see what she wanted, me in cuffs. 10 minutes later, sirens pierced the quiet. 2 police cruisers pulled up, lights flashing. Karen sprinted toward them like they were her private army. She jabbed a finger at me, voice cracking. "That's him! Arrest him immediately!" The officers glanced from her to me. One of them, tall with sharp eyes, frowned. "Ma'am, you said he attacked your property." "Yes," she wailed, forcing out fake tears. "He chopped the tree to crush my car! He threatened me! He's violent!" The neighbors gasped, some whispering in disbelief. I just shook my head. Then, slowly, I reached into my back pocket. The officers stiffened, hands sliding toward their holsters, until I pulled out a small black device. "Body cam," I said, pressing the button. A green light blinked. Records everything. Want to see what really happened? Karen froze. The fake tears vanished like smoke. One officer raised a brow. "You carry a body cam?" I looked him straight in the eye. "Habit. SWAT training makes you careful." Whispers spread through the crowd. Karen's smugness cracked for the first time. She hadn't expected this. Nobody had. And in that moment, she realized the game had changed. But knowing Karen, she wasn't about to back down. Not yet. Her pause lasted only a few seconds. Then she straightened her back, forced on that smug little mask again, and hissed, "He's lying! That gadget is fake too!" But I caught the flicker in her eyes, panic creeping in. She spun toward the officers, her voice dripping with drama. "If you won't arrest him, then I'll take this to the HOA board. They'll fine him, evict him, and make sure he never lives here again." The crowd murmured. One of the older neighbors, Mr. Dalton, muttered under his breath, "There isn't even an HOA here." A few people chuckled, but Karen ignored it. She marched back to her house like a soldier going to war.
Minutes later, she stormed out, carrying a fat folder stuffed with papers. She slammed it down on the hood of a police cruiser. "Here it is! His violations, his illegal residency, proof he's a danger to this community." The cops flipped through the stack, frowning deeper with each page. My stomach tightened, not from fear, but recognition. Those weren't just fake HOA letters. Some of them carried forged seals, copied signatures of judges, government stamps that looked like they were downloaded and printed from the internet. I stepped forward calmly. "Officer, may I?" One handed me the folder. I lifted a page high for everyone to see, pointing at the crooked seal and misspelled words. My voice cut through the tension. "This isn't a notice. This is fraud, and not the kind you laugh off. This is prison time fraud." Karen's face drained of color. She lunged forward to snatch the papers back, but the officer blocked her hand. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "you'd better explain this." Her lips trembled, but then she smirked again. "You think you've won? You haven't seen what I'm capable of yet." She pulled out her phone, dialed quickly, and whispered into the receiver, "Bring them." The air shifted. Neighbors exchanged uneasy looks. Engines rumbled in the distance. And that's when I knew she was about to raise the stakes in a way none of them were ready for.
Two black SUVs rolled up the street, engines growling low like a warning. They stopped right in front of my driveway, doors swinging open in sync. 4 men stepped out, broad shoulders, dark sunglasses, matching black jackets. No badges, no uniforms, just muscle. Karen strutted toward them like she had just summoned her own private army. Her voice carried across the entire block. "These men are here to enforce HOA regulations. Since the police won't do their job, they will." The neighbors gasped. Phones went up, recording every second. One of the officers muttered, "What the hell?" But Karen cut him off with a sharp wave of her hand. "Remove him from this property now." The men started walking toward me, slow, heavy steps meant to intimidate. The air thickened with tension. Neighbors backed up onto their lawns, some whispering, some filming. Karen stood there with her arms folded, a smile tugging at her lips, already picturing me being dragged away. But I didn't move. I stayed rooted, calm, eyes locked on the so-called enforcers as they closed in. When they were only a few feet away, I raised my voice, not to them, but to the real officers still standing by their cruisers. "You might want to know something before this gets messy." I pulled a slim black wallet from my pocket and flipped it open. The metal badge inside caught the streetlight and gleamed. "Sheriff's Department. Retired. Special Investigations." The entire street froze. The officer straightened immediately, one even lifting his hand in a half salute. The fake enforcer stopped mid-step, hesitation flashing across their faces. Karen's smug grin faltered. She tried to recover, sneering, "That badge doesn't mean anything. He's bluffing. It's fake." I locked eyes with her, my voice steady and low. "You brought criminals onto my land, Karen. Do you know what that means? You just turned a neighbor dispute into a felony case." The thugs exchanged nervous glances. One of them muttered under his breath, "Karen, you didn't say he was law enforcement." For the first time, her bravado cracked. Her voice shook as she shouted, "Don't listen to him! He's lying!" But her trembling hands told the truth. And the real cops weren't looking casual anymore. Their hands hovered close to their belts as they stepped forward, ready to take control.